Hi Flosstube, it's Lindsay and welcome back to Blushing Pink Stitches. This is Flosstube number 5 and this is going to be a video primarily about cross stitch. I do talk about other crafts, but I'm not going to talk about any other crafts today. If you're a new subscriber, then welcome. Thank you very much for checking my channel out and subscribing. If you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, then thank you very much for coming back and spending your time with me. I've got a lot of lovely things to share with you today that I'm really excited about. So let's jump in. I wanted to start by acknowledging and talking about, not for particularly long, but acknowledging the situation in the world with Russia and the Ukraine. I just wanted to basically say that my thoughts and prayers are with the people of the Ukraine especially, but also civilians in Russia who are getting caught up in what's going on, you know, innocently, as it were. I don't pretend to understand the intricacies of the situation, but yeah, it's a really difficult time, and I just wanted to start by saying that, like I said, my thoughts and prayers are with anybody who is suffering in that situation. And I will talk about a couple of other things later in the video, like cross stitch related to that, but as we get to those particular sections. So let's do a bit of a life update. So I'm just looking at my notes. We had half term last week. So if you're not in the UK, half term is a week's holiday, and we have them in October, in February and in May, in between Christmas, Easter and the summer. And so you have like a week's holiday, and we call it half term. And so we had half term here last week, so my husband was off work and I was off work, and it was really lovely spending time with him and as a family with our daughter. We did a couple of lovely things. So on the Tuesday of half term, we went to a local garden centre called White Elm Garden Centre, and it has a petting farm there. And we'd never been before, so we decided to go for breakfast in the tea rooms that they have there, which was lovely, and then we went to the petting farm afterwards. We had a bit of a disaster at the petting farm in terms of, I think we got about 10 metres in, and we decided that we were going to let my daughter run around. Well, not run around, but she doesn't get much of an opportunity to walk around outside and in her shoes. So we're trying to teach her, you know, to hold her hands and stay close to us and things like that. So we thought we'd use that opportunity to get her, you know, to give her the opportunity to walk around on her own and, you know, teach her those kind of things. Trouble is, she's 15 months, so she doesn't always want to hold your hand, and she wants to run off because that's what 15-month-old toddlers want to do. They're just excited by the world around them and don't realise the dangers. So it had been raining, and we'd had quite a bad storm actually, which I'll go back to in a minute. And so there were puddles everywhere. So you can see where this is going. Basically, we got 10 metres in, she was looking at the goats, and she fell over in what had to be like the biggest puddle in the whole petting farm. Mud all down her. So she had it up her sleeves, all down her trousers, all over her shoes. It was on her face, everywhere. And she didn't hurt herself or anything. She just fell over. She got back up again and she wanted to run around, and we were like, no. So I think she was more upset by the fact that we had to go and get her changed. So basically we got her changed in the toilets. We went back to the car, got the pushchair out and put her in the pushchair, and then went back to the petting farm and pushed her out. So yeah, I mean, she loved it. It would have been better for her to actually walk around and, you know, interact with the animals and things, but yeah. And then my husband and I were sort of saying on the way back that we were a bit ill prepared, and because she doesn't have, or she didn't have at the time, a puddle suit or some wellies. So when we got back from the petting farm, I ordered a puddle suit. And actually my friend, when I was telling her about it, said, oh, I've got a pair of wellies that are her size. Do you want them? So yeah, she now has wellies and a puddle suit. So if we go out and it's been raining, she's prepared. It doesn't matter if she falls over. Yeah, so anyway, that was funny, but it was a lovely day. And then on the Thursday, we went to Lakeside, which is a big shopping centre about an hour away from us, and we hadn't been in a few years. And I bought a few new bits and bobs, you know, some nice clothes, and we had a really lovely day. And we let Bella run around in Superdry. So I was shopping in Superdry, and then my husband was running after her, and then he was doing a bit of shopping and I was running after her. So she got to run around in Superdry, so that was all right. And they had obviously music going in there, and she was stopping at every speaker and dancing, which was so funny. But anyway, that was really lovely. We just had a really lovely week. It's always really lovely when my husband has some time off work and we get to spend time as a family. We just love it. And then what other things? We went to a wedding just before half term, just to the reception in the evening. It was a colleague of my husband's, and that was really lovely. It was in this big old house. I call it a house. It looked more like a castle. Like you were pulling up the driveway and it looked like you were pulling down towards driving down towards Downton Abbey. It wasn't Downton Abbey, but that kind of idea. It was a really old historic building, so that was lovely. And it was lovely, obviously, to go out, just the two of us, and Bella's nanny, so my mum, looked after her, and that was the first time that she'd looked after her, so that was really lovely as well. And we did have a big storm here in the UK. So what would it have been, about a week and a half ago now? Storm Eunice. So yeah, my husband had the day off work because where his school is, some of the teaching staff have to come across this particular bridge, and they shut the bridge in advance of the storm. So it would have been really hard to get in for a lot of staff and a lot of students as well. So he had the day off. And there was a lot of damage in the UK. We lost our greenhouse. So we only moved, I don't know whether I've mentioned this before, but we only moved in July last year. And so we haven't done an awful lot to the garden. And the previous owners left. It wasn't a proper greenhouse. It was like one of those fabric greenhouses with like metal poles to kind of as the structure. And we've been thinking of getting rid of it because we're not keen gardeners, and the likelihood of us growing things is quite slim, especially at this particular time in our lives. So the storm kind of made us get rid of it because it flew off into the neighbour's garden. We thought it would be fine because it was like fixed to a fence post, but no, it wasn't. So my husband had to go next door, and they dismantled it in the garden, and then basically it's sitting in a pile ready to go down to the dump at some point. So yeah, but luckily we didn't have any other damage. I heard terrible things, like somebody told me that their neighbours, in their neighbour's house, all of the what they called the solar panels flew off of their roof, caused a load of damage to their roof, and also one of them hit the car, their new car, and it had a massive hole in the roof of the car. So yeah, there was a lot of damage. It was terrible wind that day. I don't think I've seen wind like it, to be honest. But anyway, we survived, and I hope everybody else in the UK is okay after that as well. So let's get into the stitching. I have an FFO. So I said to you that I wanted to finish something at least every month. And so I bought some fabric to make one of my cross stitch pieces into a pillow. So I'll show it to you here. This is it. So this is, I showed this as a finish in my first Flosstube video. This is the Stag, and this is by Bobo Stitch, and I bought it as a kit at a craft show that I went to. I will link their website down below in this particular pattern, but it's really pretty. And I made it into a little pillow, little cushion pillow. Cushion? I don't know. What's the difference between those two? Not sure. So I watched quite a lot of tutorials, and the one that I used to make this one is one from Happy Little Stitch Shop. She did a tutorial making teeny tiny pillows. And so I used that one. I did watch a lot of other ones. I watched a couple where they stitched all around and then made a hole here and then covered it up with some felt, but I really didn't like that idea. So basically I stitched all the way around and then left a gap down here to turn it out, stuff it, and then I did the ladder stitch to close it. And my mum happened to be around that day and she helped me to do it. It's not the neatest in the world, but it's not bad for my first go. So this is sitting in a little tray that I've got on my hallway table. And I just take a picture of it and put it on Instagram. So I will leave a link to, or I'll leave my Instagram name down below. It's basically the same, well, it is the same as my channel name, Blushing Pink Stitches. So yeah, I put it on there. So I'm really pleased with that. And actually it was really easy to follow the tutorial and to make this. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing that again. And then perhaps learning how to put some trim, because I did buy some trim for this, but I didn't really know how to use it. So I have to kind of figure that out. And this is just fabric that I bought from Hobbycraft. So I really like that. I thought it went well with the purples in here. And I'm pleased with how that turned out. So that's my FFO. And then I have a few FOs. So the biggest one of them is I finished Pretty Little New York. This is a pattern by Satsuma Street. You get it closer so you can see all of the detail. So I think I don't know, I'd done a few buildings the last time I showed this to you. So I think I'd done the bridge and then these two buildings, oh no, hold on, these two buildings here, I think. So I came and did I think this is the Flatiron building. This is the Washington Square Arch, I think. New York Public Library, the Guggenheim Museum, I think this is. This is the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building and Statue of Liberty. And then I did the rest, the street down here. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out. This was, I said in my last video, this was addictive, and it was really addictive. And so, yeah, I just got to a point where I couldn't really put it down, so I didn't. This is stitched on an 18 count Snow Sparkle Ada from Zweigart. And I'm not really sure whether the camera is picking up the sparkle, but it is sparkly anyway. And I really like it. So I'm trying to decide how to finish this now, whether to finish it in a hoop and put it on the wall or something different. I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you got any suggestions? Have any of you done any of these patterns, and how have you fully finished them? I'd love to know. Because I've said before, I'd quite like to do some of the other ones that are cities that my husband and I have been to. So for example, there's an Amsterdam one. I think there's one that's all of Italy. We've been to Rome together. So yeah, So to have a little collection of them would be a nice thing. I finished another thing. I started and finished it, but it's a secret project at the moment because it is going to be a present for somebody who may or may not watch this video. So therefore I don't want to show it here. But what I'm going to do is once I have gifted it, I will show it on a future Flosstube video, and I will sort of put pictures and whatever of it on here. But it was a really small, really easy pattern, and I really enjoyed making that one. So the only other one that I finished, and this will go into my whips, is my Ron bookmark. So these are patterns by a shop who no longer sells on Etsy called CuteCrossStitchShop. There are 5 Wizards bookmarks, and this is the 4th one that I've completed. So I love the saying on this: why spiders, why couldn't it be follow the butterflies? Yeah. And for some reason they charted this with Ron wearing his Yuletide ball outfit with a scarf on top of it. I don't really know why, and it wasn't until I got down here with the brown that I thought he should really be wearing what Harry and Hermione are wearing. But I thought, well, one of the points of him wearing the outfit in the books and the films is that it's a comedic moment, and that kind of goes with this saying as well. So I thought I'd just leave it, and I'm really pleased with him. He got a lot of orange hair. He mostly got done last week as well. So that's the 4th one in the series. And then this morning at breakfast, I made the tiniest start on Sirius, who is the last one in the series. So yeah, it's like minimal number of stitches. For some reason, something's rubbed off on the back of this Ada. I don't know whether you can see. Yeah. I don't know what that is. So weird. But it's on the back, and you can kind of see it a little bit on the front, but I think it'll be okay depending on how I finish these. It'll be fine. Not the end of the world. So yeah, that's my first work in progress. So that's like my little project. So I think I figured out that I like to have a big project on the go and a little project on the go, and I tend to work on the little project in the car, during the day in little pockets of time, and then my bigger project when my daughter's asleep. So mainly at night. Let's take a sip of my drink. I've got hot chocolate today. Oh, that's gone cold really quickly. It's not cold, it's lukewarm, but anyway. So there's that one. That's one of my whips. The other whip that I've got is one that you've seen before as well. This is Christmas Birds by Owl Forest Embroidery. And this is stitched on a 32 count summer khaki linen from Zweigart, and it's I'm using the DMC conversion. It's charted in their own overdyed, or you know when people talk about overdyed threads, I don't actually know what they mean by that, but anyway, yeah, they have their own line of hand dyed variegated threads, which you can order from their website as well, but I just did the DMC conversion, so I don't have much progress on this, and I'll explain why in a second. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. So last time you saw this, let me just put this up because otherwise it's very blurry. Last time you saw this, I just started this big snowflake here. And actually it was last night when I'd finished a couple of things, I thought I really must pull this out again because I haven't worked on it at all since the last time I did a Flosstube video and knew I was filming today. I mean, not that that matters, but yeah, I just wanted to make some progress on it. So I thought I would complete the snowflake last night. And as you can see, it's all gone now. because I got all the way round to the other side of the snowflake and realised that I was off by one fabric thread, one square. I don't know how you would say that. So that all came out last night, which was really frustrating. So I thought I'm going to leave that. So I came over here this morning and I did the star, the 2 snowflakes, and this is the start of another bird, a big bird. So yeah, I was stitching the white snowflakes this morning and then that one last night and thinking maybe it's the fabric that I don't like, but it is definitely the white. I feel like I can't see the holes as well when I'm stitching with white, but when I'm stitching with a darker colour, I can see them fine. It's a weird thing, but anyway, so yeah, so that's how far I've got with that. And now I'm doing other things. I'm sort of more motivated to pick it up and work on it again now. So hopefully you'll see some more progress on that. Next time I make a video. And the only other whip that I've got is a new one that I started. So this is, put the front page up. This is Flower Platch 2 by Lila's Studio. I bought this from her Etsy shop. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. And this is also part of haul as well. I got the threads. So it calls for Weeks Dye Works, which I've never worked with before. I've only ever worked with DMC. But I got, and they're a bit messier because like I like to put my leftover bits on there. So yeah, these are the colours that it calls for. Oh, and there's one more in here as well, which is loose. What's this one? Dutch Iris. Yeah. So I managed to get those this month. So I thought I would make a start on it. And I've done quite a lot actually. My needle is stuck in a particular position, which maybe I'll just pull it through and put it over here. Just sticking out of my fabric. Sorry. Okay, so this is how far I've got. And then I'll just put this behind here so you can see. Oh, it's so beautiful. So I've managed to do most of the border. I just need to do the back stitching on the other 2 panels. And then I've started the flowers. So I've done 2 of the flowers there. And then one I'm starting in the corner. This is also my first time using variegated thread. So I haven't, when I've been using that, I haven't been doing the loop start method. I've been just taking 2 strands off and burying my thread. But it's really pretty. And I've not really been too concerned about where my threads are going either. I haven't really. I don't think I need to at this point with this particular pattern. So yeah, this is stitched on a piece of 32 count pale cream linen from Zweigart. It's a piece that I bought for Christmas out of my Christmas money with a different pattern in mind. I bought it for my Christmas list, or the Christmas list, by Silver Creek Samplers. But when I started, it, and I happened to be starting with the white, and it just wasn't showing up. It was getting lost, and I didn't really like it. So I put it aside, and I thought I'd save that for another project. And then I bought that pattern, and I thought it would be absolutely perfect for it. And I'll get to stitch something else on that because it is a big piece and don't need all of it. So that is my other whip. Right, so bits of thread everywhere. I thought I would, what are these baby bits of hair that you get at the side? Anyway, talk to you about haul. So I'm going to talk to you first about some patterns and books that I bought. Oh. And then we'll go into other things. Okay, so this kind of relates to what when I was talking about the situation with the Ukraine earlier, and I said I'd mention it later. Jan Hicks, and her channel name is Jan Hicks Creates. I'm sure lots of you follow her already. She put a post on Instagram where she put some pictures up of patterns that she'd bought from Ukrainian designers on Etsy. And then she also did a blog post where she listed some Etsy shops that were owned by Ukrainian designers, and said, you know, I've bought these patterns to kind of support. I thought that was a brilliant idea. So I was having a look through her list, and a few of the shops I already followed and a few I didn't. So I was having a look through and I bought 2 patterns. The first of which is this one, and it's Not All Who Wander Are Lost. And this, I saw this on Shiloh's channel. Her channel is XStitchMD. I don't think she's finished it, but she started this last year. I don't think she has, or maybe she has now. I can't remember. This is a Lord of the Rings quote. And my husband and I are big Lord of the Rings fans. He's read all the books. I am yet to read The Return of the King. I've been through the books twice and I've never made it through The Return of the King. But Andy Serkis, they just brought out new audiobooks of the series, including The Hobbit, and Andy Serkis narrates them. And I've heard that he does a fabulous job. So I was trying to listen to them on audio before, and the narrator that they had was just so boring. Sorry. But yeah, I couldn't do it. So anyway, yeah, I've never made it through The Return of the King, but the films are phenomenal. Love them. So yeah, I really want to stitch this, and this is by a shop called 2x2 Stitch Art, and as always I will leave links in the description box below. But yeah, it's really pretty, so I bought that. I don't want to make a pile of that over there. And the other one that I bought is this one, and this is called Moon with Moth. And it's not really a me pattern, but I have somebody in mind for it, for a present. It is really pretty. So yeah, I bought that. And this is by a shop called X Cross Stitch Pattern X. Again, I will leave it linked down below. But the detail on this is lovely, and she does lots of different insects. So like there are lots more in this colour palette, and then there are some more in a different colour palette, and then she has lots of other patterns as well. But yeah, I really like that. And in fact, I bought some fabric for it, so I could start it, and the threads. So these are all of the DMC threads that you need. And then I bought a piece of 16 count black Ada, a fat quarter. And that was I bought that from Peakside Needleworks, which is a shop in the UK. I love the fact that they label it. I've not bought anything from them before, but I'm really impressed. I bought this on Sunday and it's Tuesday today, and it came this morning. It was so quick. So yeah, I was really impressed, and I will definitely buy from them again. So that's now going in that folder, and that will be a start soon. In fact, I might put it in my whip basket. Okay, then I think it was Leslie Hurley. She was talking about this shop on Etsy called Oxleone Needlework, and they were having, I had a little look at their shop, and they were actually having a sale on some of their patterns. So I bought 2. This is called Spring. I thought I need to buy more seasonal small things so I can finish them and like put them in my tray and up around the house and stuff. So I really liked the whimsical nature of this. The size of that carrot that that bunny's holding is brilliant. So I bought that one. And then the other one I bought is Bluebird and Olive Branch. And I seem to be stitching a lot of stuff in blue at the moment. Or like drawn to patterns like that. And of course it had to be a bird. So I got that one. And then I wanted to talk about a couple of freebies that I picked up. And I can't remember off the top of my head how I came across these. I think they were shared on Instagram. But they're freebies by the Ukrainian designers. So this one is a bookmark. And then this one is from, this is going to be a stitch along, the Ukraine Solidarity stitch along. I'll show you the pattern because it's a free pattern. I will find where I got them and leave a link to them down below. But there's actually a hashtag. I think it's like Ukraine Stitch Along or something like that on Instagram where people are sort of stitching in solidarity sort of thing. So I thought it would be a great idea to have a go at those. And they don't really require an awful lot of colours either. So yeah, I think the bookmark was like 4 colours and the square motif was 5. So yeah, I thought I'd give those a go. And then I bought a couple of other patterns, physical patterns. So this is Indigo Lane by Brenda Gervais. And I've seen a couple of people either stitch this completely. I think Laurie from Once Upon a Stitch, yeah, she stitched the big one. I didn't realise it also came with like this pin, this thimble thing. But it does. There's a pattern for both in there. And then the proper stitcher, I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry. I will leave them linked down below. She has been stitching this in honour of her mother-in-law who passed away over the Christmas period. I just think it's so pretty. Again, look at the blues. I seem to be drawn to blues. It doesn't really go with my channel name, but whatever. Yeah, it's really pretty. And that's the first Brenda Gervais pattern that I've ever bought. And then this is inspired by Laurie as well. This is Forever and Ever by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I seem to be really drawn to their patterns. But she finished this, I think, at the beginning of this year. And again, I love the birds. Everything about it is brilliant. So I had to pick that up. And then I put on my Instagram stories, I think on Saturday, we were in Colchester and I'd seen a few people from the UK say, like in various Facebook groups that I belong to, that Emma Congdon's cross-stitch books were on sale at the Works for £5 each, and they retail at £16.99, and they'd been on my Amazon wishlist for a while. I did contemplate getting them when I got my voucher from work before Christmas, or just after Christmas, but I didn't in the end. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I waited, because yeah, they were a bargain. So if you haven't seen them before, this is Cross Stitch for the Earth. And Emma Congdon, I think she has an Etsy shop called Stitch Rovia. I think that's her. Pretty sure she has an Etsy shop. I will leave it linked down below. I'm sure I've stitched a Stitch Rovia pattern before. I think that was my mum's wedding sampler I did for her. I'll have to see, and yeah, maybe I'll get to show that to you one day. I'll show you some pictures of it anyway. So yeah, this is the first one. I think this is the second book that she brought out. When was this published? Does it say? 2021, yeah. So this is the second book that she came out with, and she's actually got a new one coming out, which I'll put a picture of on the screen. I think that's coming out later this year. You can pre-order that. This has got so many lovely patterns in it. And as you can see, I've sort of tabbed the ones that I'm really interested in. So let's show you one that I really like. This is called Enjoy All the Little Things. I just really liked all the little creatures on that. Love a bit of nature. What's another one that I really liked? I can show you. I'll show you one more. Oh, this is cool. Good Things Are Wild and Free. Lots of safari animals, which my daughter would adore. So yeah, there's quite a few in there that I'd like to do. And the other one she bought out in 2020, it's called Cross Stitch for the Soul. And she just does really nice designs with lots of sayings on them. So what have I picked out of here? When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. Really like that. What's another one that I picked out of here that I liked? Oh, this is a William Shakespeare quote. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. Love that. Because it's Shakespeare, I kind of have to stitch it. It's like a given. And then the other one I liked. There are always flowers for those who want to see them. Yeah. They're just really cool, bright, colourful patterns that if you had them on your wall, you'd just be inspired and want to look at them all the time. So I picked those up. And then the other haul that I've got is where I've sort of kitted things up. So I'm just going to show you what I've kitted up basically. And some of these are sort of half kitted. So I showed you Stony Creek's Autumn in the Village. I bought that pattern I showed you actually last time. There are a couple of speciality threads in there, so I thought I would get those. This is Water Lilies in the Redwood colourway. So yeah, I mean, never worked with that before. And this is Gliss and Gloss Rainbow Blending Thread in silver, in 901 silver. And then the rest of the pattern is DMC. So I've started putting in here. I had quite a lot in my stash and I don't have all of them. I do have a system for how I kit up things. I don't know how interested you'd be in like me talking about what my system is. Yeah, leave me a comment down below. What do you think? Like, would you like to know how I do things? I did think as well it might be an idea to do like a brief craft room tour. I don't know, you can tell me what you think of that idea as well. I showed you these patterns before on my last video as well. I've got the 2x2 patterns from the Prairie Schooler. So there are two bits of this. I think it's 71 and 72. I bought some fabric for it. I'm not going to be able to remember what this is now. I should have written it. What does it call for? Because I would have... 28 count. Right, so I've probably done the same then. This is a 28 count linen in something. I don't remember the colourway. I should have written it on here. And that actually, I'm going to leave that out because otherwise I won't do that. Just leave that there and that'll remind me to do that. So I bought that fabric for it. This one is Snow Sampler by Country Cottage Needleworks. And I bought... It wanted one Gentle Arts. It called for one Gentle Arts thread. So that was Baby Spinach. So I bought that. It's got loads of thread everywhere. I've got some other DMC in there as well. I need one more for this. And then I ordered from Patchwork Rabbit, which is another needlework shop in the UK. This is a piece of 32 count Star Sapphire linen from Permin. And this is a fat quarter. kind of washing it out. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that. It's more green. It's sort of greying it out on the screen. But yeah, it's more green. I think that was the called for. Oh no, it called for raw or silver linen. So anyway, I just bought that. I thought it would look nice on the green. Where am I putting these? Stuff everywhere. And I'm going to need to remember the name of the pattern for this one because this is from a magazine. So I have to put a picture of this up on the screen. This is for a pattern called Easter Egg Trio by Karen Bowen. It's from their April 2022 magazine of Just Cross Stitch, issue of Just Cross Stitch. So this came today as well. This is a 36 count cream and sugar linen from Fibre on a Whim. And this is a fat quarter. Yeah. They've actually serged the edges, or some of the edges anyway, which is cool. I've never had fabric come like that before. So it's creamy, but it has some mottling to it. You can see. So the Easter eggs are really small little Easter eggs. So I'm going to be able to fit something else on this fabric as well. And so I'm looking forward to that. I just wanted to buy something a bit different. And I have the threads here. It only calls for 3. So these are classic Colourworks. So this is Pink Posy. This is Amethyst. And this one is Lettuce Leaf. So yeah, that's going to be a start. Actually, I'm going to put that in my whip basket as well, because Easter is not far away now. Then we have the Fox. I bought fabric for that. So this is a 32 count pearl grey by linen from Zweigart. It's a fat quarter again. So it did call for something else, but it calls for Mirage linen by Picture This Plus. I couldn't get it in the UK, and even on 123 Stitch they were sold out of, I think, everything of it, and you know, it's just, I think it would have taken ages for me to actually get it. So branching out, picking my own fabrics. And then it also called for a couple of more speciality threads, and these are Gentle Arts. So this is burnt orange and this is chalk. So yeah, I got those. So that's fully kitted now, so I can start that when I want to. And then the other one that I kitted up, this is fully kitted as well. Yeah. So this is, again, from Patchwork Rabbit, a 28 count lamb's wool from Permin. This is the called for fabric, I'm pretty sure. This is a fat quarter as well. So sort of that beigey colour. It's really nice. So I got that. Have I said what the pattern is? I don't think I did. It's the January Cottage from Cottage Garden Samplings. And then, did that call for anything? I think it called for, oh yeah, a couple. Is it just those two? So it called for Classic Colourworks Pebble Beach and Weekstyle Works Cocoa. I got those two. Yeah. And that is everything that I got. That's a much bigger haul than I would usually have. I feel like I've had a couple of months of actually having a bit of money to spend on things. So that's been really nice. I wanted two other things that I wanted to mention. Firstly, I quite like the idea of mentioning some Flosstubers that are new to me. You know, I pick up names of people from watching other Flosstubers. So I thought it's a nice idea. So I think I'm going to make that like a thing on my videos to mention a couple. So the first one that I wanted to mention is Hayley, and she's from the channel Stitching Cabin. And she is a new to me Flosstuber, but also a new Flosstuber. So as far as I'm aware, she's only got one video up. Let me just pause. That has gone cold now. Yeah, as far as I know, she's got one video up, and she's got a very popular Instagram account. I think it's the same name as her channel. And she also brought out, she's doing a stitch along at the moment with a pattern that she has designed. I think it's called the Nordic Band Sampler. Why couldn't I say that? And every month she's releasing a new bit, and it's really, really pretty. I'd love to get the pattern. It's beautiful. I'll try and remember to put a picture of it up on the screen or link it down below. But she was really nervous about doing her first video, so she decided that she wasn't going to show her face, so she's just got all of her projects under the camera. But she's stitching some really lovely stuff, and she showed a finish of a pattern called the Waders. I can't remember who it was by, but she bought it as a kit, and it was these three birds, and it's just a beautiful picture, so you need to go and check that out. And she's doing some full coverage, and she's doing some of the little house. She showed a finish on some of the Little House needleworks. You know, they do those series. She did one of the winter ones, and it was just beautiful. So I'd recommend going and checking her out. And then a new to me stitcher is Sarah at the Clumsy Stitcher. She started her Flosstube video last year, I believe. And you know, like when you find somebody that you really like, you want to go back to the beginning and watch all of her videos. She's one of them. So I watched her latest video, and then I went back and watched number 1. And so I'll go and see all of hers. She did, I think the one that I watched most recently, she did a whip parade, and she's got some really lovely projects, and she does gifts, and she does some full coverage, and a big variety of things. She does a lot of stitch alongs as well, so that's really lovely to see. I really must jump on some more stitch along bandwagons. But yeah, so I will leave both of their channels linked down below. You should really go and check them out. Sarah is also from the UK, so that's really lovely for me as well, to find some more UK Flosstubers. And I do actually have a what I've been reading section this time, and I finished 2 books, can you believe, since we last spoke. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne. And this is a historical romance novel set in the Victorian era. Yeah, I think so. I think that's correct. And this follows our main characters, Farah and Dorian. And yeah, it's just about their story, basically. I don't really want to spoil anything. I feel like the back really spoils an awful lot. There is some quite steamy scenes in here, so bear that in mind. But this is my first Kerrigan Byrne book, and I bought the second one in the series because I did really like the writing. She does have a good way with words, actually. She describes things really, really well, and yeah, I was really drawn to the story. So it took me a while to get through this, but that was more because I was doing other stuff. So yeah, it's kind of, Dorian's like this dark character who's, you know, a criminal, and he's a highwayman, as the title suggests, and Farah is like, yeah, more sort of innocent and yeah, I don't really know how to describe it very well. It was a really rubbish description. But I would recommend it if you're into historical fiction, or if you just want to dip your toes into it. And then the other book I want to mention is How to Walk Away by Catherine Center. I read in 2020 Things You Save in a Fire. I think that's what it's called. Does it say it on here? No, because that's maybe one of her latest ones. I'm going to sneeze. No, it's gone away. Anyway. And I really loved it. That was about a female firefighter. So I bought her second one, and I've just got around to finish it, to reading that. And this is about a woman called Maggie, or Margaret, and she's involved in a plane crash at the beginning of the book, and it's about, you know, what happens after the plane crash, basically. And I really enjoyed it. I think she's a good writer. You can call her a women's fiction writer, a contemporary writer. She does her research when it comes to the topics that she talks about. So, you know, there's a lot of information in here about, you know, Margaret's recovery process and things like that. You could tell that she'd done her research. And it was a similar thing in Things You Save in a Fire. There was a lot of information in there about, you know, female firefighters in the industry and things, which was really interesting. I didn't like as much the way that the ending was told. I thought it was a little bit rushed. And this is like a 300-page book. I think it could have done with an extra 50 pages just to kind of flesh out the ending. I thought the ending was a lot of telling rather than showing. And it just felt a little bit rushed to me. But I still really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend her writing. Yeah, it was really interesting. So yeah, that is everything that I've got to share with you today. I'm just looking down to see if there was anything else. Oh, the other thing I didn't tell you about my life update, I had to buy a new phone, or get like a new phone contract. My one was up in September, but, and this is a lesson to be learned, don't let your toddler walk around with your phone, because the other day she had it in her hand and walked out into the dining room where we have wood floor, and just was scraping the screen of the phone along the floor. And so my husband came in and said, has your phone got a lot of scratches on it? And I said, well, it has a couple of very, very small ones. And he was like, that's not what it's like now. So I don't know whether you're going to be able to see. Yeah, you can look. So I basically had to pay the balance of my last phone and get a new one. And now I'm buying a screen protector and a case, and she's not touching it. So I was so annoyed, but I can't be annoyed at her because she's 15 months old and she doesn't know what she's doing. So I was annoyed at me because she shouldn't have had the phone in the first place. Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd, you know, tell you all that. So that's it. Loved having a chat with you in the comments down below. Leave me any advice, any questions, anything you want to say. Tell me what you've been stitching recently. Love hearing from you as always. I want to wish you all a good couple of weeks. Happy stitching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.